meeting for 2025. Welcome to councillors and staff that are in attendance, and welcome to those who are in the gallery, and thank you for taking time to spend with us this evening. Please be advised that this council meeting is recorded. It will be live streamed and will remain available to the public online. Councillor Wiley, would you like to do the acknowledgement of country, please?
Sure. The Central Coast Council acknowledges and pays respect to the traditional owners of Lutruwita, Tasmania, the Palawa Pakana people. We acknowledge the Punalapana tribe of this northern country, and in doing so, we celebrate one of the world's oldest continuing cultures.
Thank you. Councillor Diprose.
A statement of values. Guided by the diverse beliefs, experiences and backgrounds of the people we represent, we strive to make inspired and respectful decisions today that we will build a better tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Takes us to item 1, which is attendance and apologies. So we have apologies from Councillor Casey Hiskett, who is on a leave of absence, and Councillor Sophie Lehman, and the rest of us are all here. Item 2 is declarations of interest. Councillors and staff must declare any pecuniary or conflict of interest in any open session item on the agenda. I declare an item at 8.2. Are there any other declarations of interest, please?
No, ma'am.
No? Thank you. Welcome. Come in. Takes us to item 3, which is the confirmation of minutes for the ordinary meeting of the council held on the 14th of April. Would a councillor care to move the recommended motion? Thank you, Councillor Smith. Seconded, Councillor Carpenter. Any questions on the accuracy of the minutes? No, there being none, I put the motion. All those in favour, aye.
Aye.
Against? The motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Takes us to 4.1, which is the Mayor's communications. Just wanted to touch on the busy work that our team in our open space and parks team have been out and about in the last couple of days. In particular, on Friday, we had a great event at Breeny Place in West Ulverstone with upturned housing choices and a whole variety of service providers. And some of our infrastructure team members were there, piggybacking and taking that opportunity on the back of an existing event to get people's feedback on our open space plans and upgrades. And I know, CEO, that they've been also to Ulverstone, elsewhere in Ulverstone and Penguin and Forth, and so yeah, just wanted to pass on our appreciation for them out and about. I reckon they were probably a bit cold at Forth today. That's all for Mayor's communications. 4.2 is the Mayor's diary, just a couple of alterations there. So the last 2 items, the Dementia Friendly Theatre project and the Volunteer Week celebration event, they haven't taken place yet, but all being well, I will be there at them. But they are not relating to this period. Councillor Viney just also wanted to acknowledge that you'd attended the Ulverstone Surf Life Saving Awards. I wasn't able to join you there. How did that evening go?
Yeah, that went very well. It was my pleasure to represent the Mayor at the Ulverstone Surf Lifesaving Club celebration and awards dinner the other Saturday. They did have a very successful season in lifesaving, with the beaches being fully patrolled over the summer period, which is the most important part and aspect of surf lifesaving. And they came across as a very enthusiastic group of members for the night.
We certainly owe them a debt of gratitude, as do we, all of our emergency service workers. Thank you for that. Some other attendance there by other councillors. Any comments from councillors on those other events that appear in the Mayor's diary? Did I have a mover? I didn't. My apologies. Could I have a mover for that item? Thank you. Councillor Carpenter, seconded Councillor Viney. I put the motion. All those in favour, aye.
Aye.
Against? The motion is carried. Thank you. Takes us to item 5, councillor reports. 5.1 is councillor communications. Councillors are invited to make any reports from committees or community groups that they wish to share with the table. Any contributions?
No.
Councillor Diprose.
Yes, Mayor. First of all, yes, it was extremely cold at Forth today for the hour and a half I was there. I just like to report that I attended the Central Coast Youth Council last week, where I was very proud in passing on the information that Ethos Urban had provided, that they reckon that every council would wish they had a youth council as proactive as the one that we have. They were really thrilled to hear that, and they actually look forward to doing more things like that in the future, and they're actually really interested in our homes, our future, and said that they really enjoyed that. So it was good that they even actually brought that up. So then Melissa discussed and went through our open space parks and playgrounds. So we have the information cards that we handed them out, and they were going back to go and have a look and then share with their friends to have their say. So it was good to be able to do that, give them something else to do as far as having their say within the community. So yeah, that was all. They're a great bunch. They're a delight to work with, and it's good to see them being so interactive with council.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Any other? Councillor Beswick.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I'd just like to just let people know, and those online perhaps, and the councillors, that the last Million Paws Walk for the RSPCA will be held the last ever this coming Sunday between 10 and 2. The Million Paws Walk's been an event that's been happening around Australia for the last 30 odd years. It's sort of come to the end of its usefulness, perhaps. So, you know, anybody that might want to come along on Sunday, bring your dog. I'll take our dog so you can go for another walk like you did last Saturday. And yeah, so hopefully it's a good event for the North West Coast, celebrating the years that's run here in Central Coast.
Thank you. Any other communications? No, thank you. Takes us to 5.2, councillor questions on notice. No questions on notice have been received. And councillor questions without notice. So any questions can be asked and answered by directors or the CEO at this time. Are there any questions from the table?
No, Mayor.
Nothing. Thank you. 5.4, councillor motions on notice. No motions on notice have been received. Takes us to item 6, petitions and deputations. 6.1, petitions. No petitions have been received. 6.2, deputations. No requests to address this meeting as deputations have been made. Public question time. Public question time is conducted in accordance with Regulation 31 of the Local Government Meeting Procedures Regulations and our own public question time policy. Public question time is limited to a maximum of 30 minutes. Firstly, we will just go to the questions that we've already received. So 2 questions were taken on notice at the 14th of April 2025 council meeting. Council has provided written responses to these questions, and they are sent directly to the questioner following the meeting, but they are provided in the agenda for the purpose of record. The next item then is for questions that are submitted on notice for today's meeting. And so we have 2 questions from Leslie Lyons at Leith, which I am pleased to read aloud, as is our practice, and our response for Leslie. Question 1, my public question I asked at the council meeting on the 14th of April 2025 in relation to the Agricultural Roads Roundtable in Ulverston convened by the council, asked what is the full content of discussions, comments or observations regarding the 10-tonne weight limited Leith Road at this roundtable. The council response confirmed known fact that there were discussions and provides information that appears to be the council's responses to participants in or at the roundtable, but not the full content of discussions, comments or observations regarding 10-tonne weight limited Leith Road made by any or all of the participants in or at the roundtable other than the council. Thus, my public question to be asked at the council meeting held on the 19th of May 2025 is, during the Agricultural Roads Roundtable held at 1:30 p.m. on the 25th of June 2024 in the council chambers at the Administration Centre, Ulverston, and any visits to roads or locations, what is the full content of discussion, comments, observations or requests regarding the 10-tonne weight limited Leith Road made by any or all of the participants in or at the roundtable other than the council? Leslie's question 2 is, during the Agricultural Roads Roundtable held at 1:30 p.m. on the 25th of June 2024 in the council chamber at the Administration Centre in Ulverston, any visits to roads, locations What did all or any other participants other than the council ask for, make requests for, express desire for, express wish for, express intent for, or in any way raise or discuss 10-tonne weight limited Leith Road? The response to both the questions is provided by the Chief Executive Officer and is as follows. In response to your previous questions on notice to Council at its 14th April 2025 meeting, you are provided with all the relevant information regarding the section of Leith Road with a 10-tonne load limit as discussed by participants at the Agricultural Roads Roundtable on the 25th of June 2024. Please also note that the roundtable was held almost 1 year ago. The issue in question was only one of many discussed, and no transcripts of the discussion is available. As such, Council is not in a position to provide any further response to your question in relation to this matter, and any further questions of a similar nature may be refused in accordance with Council's public question time policy. Certainly hope that has clarified the situation for Leslie Lyons. That takes us to public questions without notice from the gallery. You should have a little briefing note there for you, which talks to you about what the opportunity is for you to ask questions. So public questions without notice provide you an opportunity to ask questions of the council related to our activities. Statements and debate will not be allowed, and any questions must be clear and succinct. So you may ask up to 2 questions without notice at this time. Please address the questions to myself. For the purpose of the recording, we ask that you come to the end of the table where the microphone can pick you up so that those listening at home can hear you. We just ask that you state your name and where you're from and advise the subject matter of your question. Please note that questions relating to any item for decision on the meeting agenda are not allowed in the interest of procedural fairness. So if you had a question that pertained to items that we're going to be discussing further on this evening, I'm not able to accept those from you. As I've said at the beginning, the council meeting is recorded, it's live streamed and remains available to the public online. So do we have any questions? If so, please feel free to come to the end of the table and say hello. If I can answer your question tonight, I will. If the staff can answer your question tonight, they will. If not, we'll take it on notice for our advice to you at a later time. Any questions, please?
Yeah, Paula, you know what I'm going to question you about. So based on what you just said, I understand I've had to say anything. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest. Any other questions that turn into real questions? Good evening.
Good evening, Nick Dalton Smith, owner of Dalton Cafe, or the leasee of Dalton Cafe, shop 248 Victoria Street. My question is, I've got some questions about the car parking and the inspector that's going around at the moment between Victoria Street and King Edward Street.
Yep.
King Edward?
Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking of Devonport. Over the past few weeks, I've received a couple of fines, $151.50 worth,
Okay.
for parking in front of my shop. Now I've got some photos and different things. I tried to explain to the parking officer that we're in transit. We come and go, and this is not only for myself, but for several businesses in the area. Daisy Chain, Florist, Lloyd's, Dry Cleaners, Roberts Real Estate, and they've all said that they'd sign a petition if requested, but I haven't bothered. I understand there's a 2-hour limit. The first, going back 5 years when I first started there, the first lady said that we were allowed to park there, and there was 3 car parks, which again I've got photos, that weren't part of the car park. She left, and then there was another there was another gentleman that started, and he said that as long as we left the car park within the 2 hours and came back, and if there happened to be a car park there, no problems. The little network that we do have, somebody from Lloyd's or somebody from us, we'd all go around and we'd talk to each other and we'd tell everyone, so we probably wouldn't get fined. Back then, I got a couple of fines and I paid them, no problems. The new inspector, on the first day that he came to the car park, we tried to tell him the same thing, and he's gone, no, the law is you've got to leave for 2. If it says minimum 2 hours, then you must leave for 2 hours. So I said to him, if I get to work and I've forgotten my wallet or my something or other, I've got to go home, I can't come back for another 2 hours. And he's gone, correct. No worries. So he's taken it to the nth degree. On the second day, I was parked there. He's then come and wanting to mark the tyres and so forth 3 times in one day.
So
I'd
like draw you to your question if I can.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you. No, appreciate
Yep.
that.
I'm just trying to.
The context is very good, but
Yeah. So I've got 2 questions. I've got 4 questions, but I'll roll them into 2.
Thank you.
There are several signs around the car park. One that indicates when I drive in that the allotted time is from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. And then there's another one on the toilet block and on the Victoria Street side that says it's from 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. Which one's correct? Because I drive in through the Victoria Street top one. And it says 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. So I've got 2 hours. He can't book me before 11 a.m.
If you want to roll your other 2 questions into one more question and roll them on the end of this, I suspect the CEO would want to sort of answer them all in a group if we can.
The 3 parking bays outside the front of my shop, can we make them into not part of the car park for myself and the other businesses? First in, best dressed, and or 2 of us have applied for permits and been refused.
Okay. So,
can they be purchased or can they be given? They're basically the 2 questions.
no, that's fabulous. Thank you so much.
And thank you for raising your concerns. I appreciate them. I would actually like to look into it so I can actually have a conversation with staff if you don't mind. But what I'd like to do also is I'm actually doing a walk around with Councillor Smith on Wednesday in the afternoon. So it would actually give me a chance to actually have a look at the sites that you're speaking to.
Yep.
As you're probably aware, I'm fairly new, so I'm not quite sure where all the parking signs are. But if we can both do a bit of a look and see actually eyeball the area and have a look, I'd appreciate that.
Yep.
And then we can come back to you with a bit more of an informed outcome.
No problems whatsoever. Probably an add-on. The 3 fines that I do have, who do I talk to about them?
So
I've got 3.
That when you see her on Wednesday.
No worries. Will do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that. Any other questions from the gallery, please? Welcome to those that have just joined us.
My apologies for being late.
Look at their faces.
I do have some questions. I'll write them while Kev entertains
It's
you.
always good when the visitors apologise for being late, isn't it? That speaks to the culture of our community. Welcome, Kevin.
And thank you, Mayor and councillors, Chief Executive Officer. Kevin Abood from Ulverston in the best country in the world of Tassie. Sorry, currently the best country in the world, Tassie.
Thank you. And your questions this evening?
As Central Coast Council operates under both a rules-based and principles-based corporate governance models that include the council's values, this leads thee to my first question tonight. Does the Central Coast Council have a social compact agreement? And if yes, can council, in the best interests of the community, please forward the said? Also in section 20 of the Local Government Act 1993 in Tasmania, it states that councils are responsible for providing for the health, safety and welfare of the community. This includes consultation, involvement and accountability to the community. Councils can also take actions necessary or convenient to perform their functions within or outside their municipal area. This leads thee to my second question. In the best interest of the community, can the Central Coast Council expand in ye own words what this actually means to this council and all of ye councillors, including what the council believes the health, safety and welfare of the community comprises of.
Thank you. Great questions, and as you'll appreciate, a little bit complex and multifaceted. So if you are happy for us to provide you with a response to those in writing, we'd be happy to do so.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mayor.
Good on you. Thank you so much. Any other questions, please?
I'll jump in. Haven't got them written on your paperwork yet, but I shall before I leave. Thank you again for, I suppose, entertaining, if you like to use that term.
Welcome.
It's in with the greatest respect that we ask these questions, and it's not for what I would think is any frivolous reasons, but we're chipping away at trying to manage what we see as a large problem.
Understood. For the sake of the recording, would you mind just stating your name?
Philip Jewell from Preston.
Thank you, Philip.
So I've got a very brief explanation and then a question. So I haven't timed them, but they're nice and short.
Thank you.
The three biggest investment asset management corporations of the world are BlackRock, Vanguard and State Street. The biggest shareholders of BlackRock are Vanguard and State Street. Likewise for the other two, that is, they own each other. That is the illusion that hides the true source of the fake currency that the world runs on the Rothschilds' empire that is estimated to be $500 trillion net worth. The question is Central Coast Council unwittingly embroiled in this black hole? That is, does council have debts that can be tied back to such investment firms, or are you planning on becoming part of that through some planned upcoming debt?
Thank you. We'll take that on notice.
Just a little background to that, which I haven't had time to research. When Jan Bond was the mayor, I think there was a memo put out in a public circular that the council was looking to get a $30 million, I think it was, dollar debt for doing the Penguin
Dial Sports Company.
and the the walkway that way and so on. And my comment at the time was, I, as a ratepayer, do not wish you to get into debt, because debt traps is where it is at. So that's a little background. Second question. As the world becomes increasingly awakened to the New World Order plot to install global communism, largely by debt traps, creeping legislation and adherence to false narratives such as climate change, the war on terror and the likes, we see extreme examples come into focus more frequently. You have seen such as the DAP, retroactive legislation changes to suit Robbins Island, untouchable project pushes such as wind turbines and Marinus Link. Now we see, this is on the mainland, as far as I'm aware it hasn't happened here, we see managed retreat by falsified climate modelling and enormous rate hikes supposedly for emergency service funding that you would probably be aware of. I don't see mainstream news because it's all lies, but you probably have seen it, and probably the backlash that's coming from it. Now note that this last and most recent one is in contravention of the Commonwealth Constitution, the same constitution that Council refuses to declare allegiance to. My question is, does Council have any actions or considerations underway or in discussion that would impact the lawful possession of property by the people of this Council?
Also, a very good question.
One more little note. You will, of course, be aware of the posturing that has gone on over recent years to remove the lawful title deeds held in trust by the Titles Office, an office of the Crown that has illegally been corporatised and registered as a private entity on the stock exchange. So just a little something for in the back of your mind.
Thank you so much. Thank
you very much. I know they're complex questions, but they have value. The answers have value, particularly if we're headed in the right direction.
Happy to receive them and take those from you and respond accordingly. Other questions from the gallery, please. Romy.
My name is Romy Greiner from South Preston, and apologies for being late. I didn't realise I was late. I've got a question, and I would like to preface it with just a short background statement. In 2021, the community, in consultation and in collaboration with the council, achieved the gazetting of the Leven Canyon Loyatia Scenic Protection Area. And that area encompasses the Leven Canyon Reserve, but it also encompasses adjoining public land, which is not gazetted as part of the timber zone. Now, that Scenic Protection Code recognizes the pivotal scenic values of this area to the visitors and residents of the municipality alike. Now, on 12th of May this year, the Tasmanian Times reported about plans by Sustainable Timbers Tasmania to log a large piece of forest, which is currently gazetted as future potential production forest land adjacent to the Leven Canyon. Now, that land is part of the scenic protection area. So the proposed COOP is about 500 hectares in size, not all of which is purported to be planned for logging. It covers the Three Brothers Formation, and those Three Brothers are a very prominent set of forested mountain peaks up to 670 meters in elevation. They are directly adjacent to the Leven Canyon and also to Kildare Lodge, and are a dominant visual feature on approach to the Leven Canyon. They form the quintessential visual backdrop to the Leven Canyon from the Cruikshank Lookout looking north. Basically, that area encapsulates the core scenic values of the Leven Canyon Loyatina Scenic Protection Area. To me, clear felling of this area, as it is proposed, even if it's part of it, will violate the core scenic values that are stipulated in the local provision schedule. Now I've got two questions. The first one is, what actions will Central Coast Council undertake to safeguard the defined scenic values of the scenic protection area in face of the proposed logging? The second question I'd like to preface with another quick statement. When you look at the map, that area that is currently zoned future potential production forest and is subject to those logging plans would occur to me to be ideally suited to be enclosed within the reserve, the Leven Canyon Regional Reserve. So the second question is, how might the Central Coast Council commence the pursuit of having the land title or titles covering the Three Brothers added into the Leven Canyon Regional Reserve?
Thank you. Thank you for the context. Thank you for the question. CEO.
Mayor, if we may take those on notice, there's quite a
Yes,
bit of
absolutely. I
that you
didn't
provided.
expect you to answer them. I've got them here.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you again. Any other questions this evening? No. Thank you. You really don't need to apologise when you're running late for our meeting. That's perfectly okay. But I love the respectful way in which you all do. And thank you again for the respectful way that you always ask your questions. We really appreciate it. There being no further questions from the gallery, we'll move on to item 8, Council acting as a planning authority. 8.1 is Council acting as a planning authority for these particular items. There are two matters for consideration of the planning authority at this meeting. Would a councillor care to move the recommended motion for this item? Thank you, Councillor Viney, seconded Councillor Wiley. All those in favour, aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you. And as I'm an interest for 8.2, I'll vacate the chair for the deputy mayor.
Thank you. Scroll ahead to the next notes that we've got here. Would someone like to would a councillor care to move the recommended motion that we've got there? I believe may have an alternate motion for this item.
If
Councillor
I may move it with a
Alternate
alternative,
motion.
that would be wonderful.
Thanks, councillor Wiley. Got a seconder for that?
Seconded, Mayor.
Councillor Carpenter,
Seconded, Deputy Mayor.
would you like to talk to the motion?
I
read the
will
motion
just
out.
read it actually, if that's okay. I would like to move the recommended motion for this item with one minor alteration to part 1 as follows. That the Planning Authority approve DA 2025050 for residential single dwelling and shed at 5 Ronroy Place, West Ulverston, subject to the following conditions. 1, except for the setback of the garage from the southern boundary being increased to 3,000 millimetres, 3 metres, the development must otherwise be substantially in accordance with the following plans by A. Alan Lawler Design and Drafting Project number 091924, drawing numbers 1 through to 6 inclusive, dated the 12th of March 2025. And B. Eureka Garages and Sheds, unlabelled, known as 3D image, floor plan and elevations, undated.
Thanks, councillor Wiley. Did you have anything else you'd like to add to that?
Do I do that now? Yes. So basically, this was a discretionary application, and the standard would be a 5 metre setback from that boundary. We do, or I feel that with the plans being only 1 metre from the boundary, that there is a loss of amenity to the neighbouring property, and I believe that sometimes it's about, you know, striking a balance and finding a good compromise. And I think that by increasing that setback to 3 metres, which is still outside of the envelope, but we'll sort of meet somewhere in the middle to hopefully satisfying all people within that area.
Thanks, councillor Wiley. Any other speakers on this motion?
Deputy Mayor, yeah, I support the alternate motion. I think it's we've got to be very mindful and respectful of people's amenities. And when you look, you know, I know 1 metre to 3 metres, you mightn't think we've gained much for the person, the representative on that. But when you think about it, and you're looking in the bulk and scale of that size and sat outside, just 1 metre outside your northern boundary, and if we can go back to 3 metres, it might give a little bit more clear light and a little bit less shading as such. You know, granted that the permit is 5 metres and you can get a discretionary permit of under that, but it doesn't mean to say it's a given right and it's a right of way through. So I think being discretionary, yes, we should give 10, 20 or 30% of what it might be, but to go completely from 5 down to 1 metre, to me, I think it's unacceptable when we can come to a balance. So I hope this is taken in the right vein it's put, and that there is a balance there and an opportunity to move forward with 3 metres.
Thanks, councillor Carpenter. Any other speakers on this motion? I might just add a little bit myself. With this, I concur with the other comments that's been made. I suppose over time, what happens when we approve subdivisions in areas where there's been people living and so forth with plenty of space around them, and then we approve a subdivision, that there becomes issues when there's what I call really a large sheds being put in close and adjacent to other properties. I think this what's proposed here tonight is a good compromise. I suppose it's still closer than what the shed is on the adjacent property, and we talk about keeping in similar vein to what adjacent properties are. Sheds are getting bigger and bigger in some situations, but in the end, it's not as of right to be able to do that. There might be able to be some compromises in perhaps the shed size a little bit to help with the closeness to the residence that's in this planning application. But yes, I'm happy to support this motion as well. Is there any more speakers? If there isn't, would any closing items you'd like to make, councillor White?
No, I don't think there's anything else really to say, apart from the fact that we do acknowledge that the shape of the block and the restrictions, I should say, that the person building on this block of land had. We do recognise that has been pointed out as well, but I feel like we've reached a fairly good compromise. So no, nothing else to add. Thank you.
All right, I'll just put the motion then. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion's carried. Thank you. Let the mayor back in. Thank you.
Well, that's it, really, isn't it?
One day they might not. Thank you. That takes us to 8.3, which is the development application for educational locational care, 54A Leylands Avenue, Ulverston. You have the report there in front of you. Just wanted to, firstly through you, Sue, if I can, just call on the Director of Strategic Growth, Daryl, as we can recognise many people have raised the issue of access through to Beach Road via the current footpath and the current arrangement there, and expressing concerns about the future accessibility to be able to get through to Beach Road. We've obviously it's not an issue for planning for this development application, but we have reached out to Leylands Christian School to see what we might be able to do in the future to try and rectify that. Did you want to share with us any thoughts that you have about that, please?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. So, yes, you're quite right. We received a number of concerns about the loss of the existing footpath, but it's not something that planners making a recommendation or councillors acting as a planning authority can consider for this matter. But I applaud the school on reaching out and I guess sharing with us their willingness to construct a new and improved pathway along the western boundary, which ideally would connect with a new pedestrian crossing across the rail, subject to TasRail's support, of course, and I think that's something that council could work with them on. Other concerns raised related to the adequacy of car parking, which again, the development application does satisfy the parking requirements in the parking scheme, but I think it'd be fair to say, Mayor, that that's something that councillors would be keen for us to pursue with the school as well. So I think there's no need for those matters to hold up the development application, and indeed they can't lawfully hold up the development application, but it's good to see the school willing to engage with us on those issues.
Thank you. Thank you so much. In that case, would Councillor care to move the recommended motion for this item, please?
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor. Oh, you're good. Thank you, Councillor Beswick. Seconded, Councillor Diprose. Councillor Beswick, did you wish to speak to your motion?
Yes, Mayor. As has been alluded to by Director Connolly, there's always things that we may or may not like to be able to be addressed when there's a planning application comes before us, but we're tied by the planning scheme and everything needs to be on planning grounds. And the staff have gone through everything and it ticks all the boxes as it is. I commend the school on their approach to working with us to alleviate some of the issues that have been raised, and hopefully they can come to assist in the various problems that may be around transport, access, and so forth. So, moved on that basis, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other speakers, please? Councillor Diprose.
Yeah, just on following on from what Councillor Beswick said, there's some things that we can't take up and address because we're not allowed to do so. Yeah, well done to the school by saying that they will make sure that there is access to the beach for everyone, which is there's always been access for such a long period of time. It's good to see that they're looking at increasing their years 11 and 12. However, I personally just concerns as to when some of those students get their licence that are in years 11 and 12, and if there's 100 of them, you would only think that 35 will probably have a car and a licence and will not want to be taking the bus or being dropped off by mum and dad, would want to take their car and go off to do their sporting activities, training after school, or head to a job or whatever they need to do. So, yeah, just bearing in mind that car parking might need to be looked at later on down the track, but I'm sure the school have all those sorts in their minds and what they're planning on do with them in the future.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other speakers? Councillor Viney.
Yes, I'd just like to say that compromise appears to be the word of the night. I believe that Leyland's have done a good job in agreeing to work with the community around them, and I hope that goes to make some more positive outcomes in regard to this particular development application. The council and the councillors' hands have been tied because we have to look at it on planning grounds. And in this case, there are some other items that need addressing, and I'm pleased to say that the school has reached out to the public around them. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Councillor Carpenter.
Mayor, yeah, I'm reluctant to support this motion, but as other councillors have stated, it's we're in between the devil and the detail here. I think when we come to DAs like this, and totally support the concept behind it, not an issue in the world, but there is community amenity that I think that somewhere in the system going forward, there's got to be an avenue there that you can put conditions on to be able to protect that community amenity that people have been used to over a long period of time, and also to be able to protect what's going to happen, which we perceive is going to happen in the future. And how you do that legally and on perception is very hard. But I have real concerns that sometimes we're not allowed to put conditions on, and then in 10, 15, 20 years' time, as Councillor Dipro said, you're investing this money, you want more students, and those students are going to have licence and they're going to drive. And when you go down into that community there's no room to go. There's no more room. There's no, you don't want them out on the street. There's no access. So, again, we have issues not within our scheme. We interpret the way we're told to interpret, but there's issues inside the state scheme where we don't have room to move, and to me that's detrimental for good long-term planning. And so it is with reluctance that I will have to support it to make sure it does get off the ground, and then try and build something out of that. And hopefully that Leyland's stand by their intent and come to the table with council and see that through to the end, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other speakers? No, I suppose I would just add, just echoing what you've said, certainly appreciate the number of people that have put in representations and the level of detail that they went to address all of the items of concern. And yes, Councillor Carpenter, what you've alluded to is correct. We don't get much of an opportunity to do that forward planning. It's a great problem to have, as some people would say. We have a flourishing school that has increasing numbers. And of course, for me personally, the fact that if that means more students are completing year 11 and 12, then that is indeed our statewide aspiration as well as our Central Coast aspiration. So, but with everything comes, as you say, the amenity and those living around it. It's not without its challenges, but at the very least, I think this has focused our mind on some of those challenges, and will be guided by yourself and your staff over the coming years about what we can do to actively play a role to try and ease some of that congestion and some of that amenity. So I too will be supporting the application. Councillor Beswick, did you wish to close your motion?
I don't think there's anything else more to add, Mayor. As I say, just again to echo the thanks to the school for working with us in the future, and we can address the issues that do get raised with them.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, aye.
Aye.
Against? That's declared unanimously. Thank you. That takes us to item 9, Office of the CEO and Mayor. 9.1 is the Chief Executive Officer's report. Would a councillor care to move the recommended motion for this item, please? Thank you, Councillor Wiley. Seconded, Councillor Diprose. Councillor Wiley, anything to add to this or any questions to the CEO?
No, just thank you. New CEO, new format, new little improvements. So that's fabulous to see. I really enjoyed reading about the grants and who the recipients were for that. So I found that a great addition, but nothing else really to add to that.
Thank you. Any other speakers? No, put the motion. All those in favour, aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 10 is community services. 10.1 is constitution of Hive. You've been provided with a report and a copy of the constitution and the rationale for doing so. Would a councillor care to move the recommended motion for this item, please? Councillor Carpenter, thank you. Councillor Wiley, second. Councillor Carpenter, any questions or comments, please?
No, just a quick comment. It's a great idea, Mayor, and it will save a lot of forward drama when something else down the track and everything might have to be moved or returned and everything. So great thing.
Any other questions or statements or comments?
Yes, I'd just like to say, it's just great that they've, as part of this constitution, that they've established the Hive Gift Fund so that they can actually receive donations of artwork or any other type of donation. So it's just another sort of safety net. Thank you for the words, safety net for them, and just to be able to keep that great work that they're doing at Hive and keep it growing.
Indeed. Any other comments? Hopefully also this will lead for a successful application for deductible gift recipient status, which means that we could, the Hive could receive those tax deductible donations from people or organisations. So that would be a great thing also. Any further discussion? Sorry. There being none, I put the motion. All those in favour, aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 11 is corporate services. 11.1 is the financial report. And the attachment, which was the report of the Auditor General 24-25. Would a councillor care to move the recommended motion for this item, please? Thank you, Councillor Viney. Seconded, Councillor Wiley. Councillor Viney, any comments or questions?
Just in a short statement, I'd just like to say it's once again a very clear and concise report, and well, there's more information in there than less, which means it's a very heavy report, but everything's there, which is good. Very concise.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other comments or questions on the financial reports? No? Good. Thank you for the provision of the Auditor General report also. There's a bit of a good news story in there for us, and good news for local government more broadly, I'd say, for the state, which is pleasing. Anything further? No, I put the motion. All those in favour, aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. That takes us to item 12, which is infrastructure services. No open session items for infrastructure services. Strategic growth is 13.1, development support determinations. So full report there from the Strategic Growth Director and a copy of all the determinations that have been made since the last meeting. Would a councillor care to move the recommended motion for that item, please?
I move, Mayor.
Councillor Carpenter, thank you. Councillor Diffrose. Councillor Carpenter, anything to observe?
It's still ticking along, Mayor.
Indeed, and those numbers are very, very good.
Incredible when you look at the amount of dollars there too. It's just unbelievable, the investment going in.
Agreed. Questions or statements for the Director? No, again, it is a great dashboard, CEO there on the page for people to see that our target for discretionary applications is 42 days, and for this period it's 38. The permitted usage applications, the target is 21 days. This period for ourselves is 5, and no permit required. Little bit of work to do there, but ticking along very nicely, and our thanks to the staff who are under a bit of pressure up there in strategic growth. Anything other? No, I put the motion. All those in favour, aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion is carried. Thank you. And that brings us to 14, which is the closed session meeting. 14.1 is to close the meeting to the public. Would a councillor care to move the recommended motion? Thank you, Councillor Wiley. Seconded, Councillor Diffrose. Put the motion. All those in favour, aye.
Aye.
Against? The motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. The meeting is now closed to the public at 6:49. Thank you for joining us on this slightly colder than average evening. Travel home safely. Yes, if you've got questions, please leave them and we'll take care of those for you. Appreciate your questions.
Thank you very kindly.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for coming all.
Travel safely. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.